Zootopia 2, the Junior Novelization. Chapter 1. To say that Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde were an unlikely pair was putting it mildly. Judy was the Zootopia Police Department's first rabbit cop, a bunny determined to prove her worth. Nick was a small-time street fox known for doing things that were legal adjacent. Together, they had exposed Mayor Dawn Bellwether's plot to take over Zootopia by driving out the predators so the prey animals would be left in charge. Bellwether confessed to the whole thing, a confession that Judy and Nick captured on a toy carrot recorder pen. After that, Nick unexpectedly joined the Zootopia Police Department, also called the ZPD, and officially became Judy's partner on the force. The new horse mayor, Brian Wind Dancer, celebrated their partnership. He said that it was a symbol of what Zootopia could be, animals embracing their differences and being better together. Or, in Mayor Wind Dancer's exact cornier words, be better zoo together. Zootopia was rapidly approaching a momentous time. It had been 100 years since the city's walls had been invented by a lynx named Ebenezer Lynxley. Those weather walls made it possible for all the different kinds of animals who required a variety of climates to live together and thrive in one place. Well, all animals except for reptiles. Around the same time the weather walls were invented, a snake named Agnes tried to steal the Lynxley Journal, which contained the patent for the weather walls. Tortoise Sheldrick, the Lynxley family's nanny, tried to stop the venomous thief and was attacked. No snakes had been seen in Zootopia since. One morning, Judy and Nick arrived at the ZPD headquarters. The partners went to their lockers and got ready to start their day. In the ZPD bullpen, Chief Bogo addressed the officers, preparing them for the day's work. At the ZPD, partnership is the cornerstone of success, Chief Bogo said. How does a team put the bad guys away? Be on the same page every day, some officers answered. Good enough, Chief Bogo answered. Now today's bad guy is an anteater inspector who's been smuggling illegal overseas cargo through the city shipyard. The chief held up a photo of the anteater in question. Then, pointing to another photo of the shipyard featuring a giant container, he said, Sources indicate he has a large shipment arriving this morning. Captain Hogbottom and Truffler will lead. Both Hogbottom and Truffler were Razorback hogs. They made an impressive duo. Senior teams will wait for our order, Hogbottom said. Hopps and Wilde. As rookies, you're there to observe only, so stay in your vehicle. Hogbottom looked in the direction of Judy and Nick's seats, but she saw they were empty. Where are Hopps and Wilde? She asked. From the hallway, Officer Clawhauser poked his head in. The cheetah was clutching a balloon in his paw as he said, Oh, I think they said something about a birthday. The city shipyard was alive with the hustle and bustle of work. Judy pushed a baby stroller with colorful balloons tethered to it. Nick walked beside Judy holding an armful of wrapped gifts. Inside the stroller there appeared to be a baby bunny. Not far off, a blue crate was being loaded into a catering van. A smug-looking pig hovered, accepting the delivery of an expensive pink hog rod. Toot toot, Bun Bun, Judy said as she looked into the stroller. This is where they keep all the choo-choos. Nearby, an anteater doing business with someone saw Judy and Nick. He tried to get their attention. Hey! The anteater shouted. Excuse me, hi, this whole area is restricted. You can't be here. We can't be here? Tell you what, how's about we sneak ya a little slice of cake? We'll take a few snapolas with the big guy here. The boss never has to know, Nick said, holding up a camera. I am the boss, the anteater said, pushing Nick's camera away. Staring at the anteater's name tag, Judy said, Inspector Snootley, an anteater inspector, ensuring nothing illegal gets smuggled from overseas in one of these containers. Nick gave Judy a look that suggested she was being a little too obvious. Read my lips, the anteater said. You gotta leave. Judy started to protest, but Nick said, I guess we should have thought this through. Right, babe? Then Nick turned up the emotion. Before we made the choice to celebrate the birthday boy's big day at an industrial shipyard. It's his birthday? The anteater asked. It is, Judy added. First one since the accident, Nick said as Judy patted him gently on the back. And you know the one thing this little stinker wished for, aside from one day getting his tail reattached? To see a choo-choo. As Nick leaned down to look into the stroller, the baby looked up at him. Only it wasn't a baby. It was Nick's former con artist pal, Finnick, wearing a baby bunny costume and holding a toy train. And to maybe get a toot-toot conductor to sign his cast. But you know, I'm betting a customs inspector would be even better. All right, the anteater said reluctantly. Nick handed a black marker to the inspector. Here you go. Either leg or both, I don't care. Maybe put a doodle on it. While Inspector Snootley took the marker, Nick tossed the toy train over to Judy. She opened the train, revealing a set of lockpicks inside. With the inspector distracted, Judy made her way over to a giant cargo container. It took her a moment to figure it out, but Judy was soon rewarded with a satisfying click as the lock opened. Just as Chief Bogo's voice blared over her radio, "Officers Hops and Wilde, you are not authorized. Stand down and wait for backup." Inspector Snootley heard the radio. He instantly realized that this was a trap. He glanced down at the baby who looked back up at him. "Sup," Finnick said. "It's the fuzz!" Inspector Snootley yelled as he pushed Nick aside and ran away. "Stop!" Judy shouted. "Stop in the name of the law!" Chapter 2. Inspector Snootley wasn't going to stop. Not for the law or anything else. He jumped into a catering van. Snootley hit the gas, and the vehicle peeled out. "Well," Nick said, while Snootley drove away, "we'll get him next time." Nick stood there with Judy, watching the catering van, as a car horn blared behind them. "Get out of the road!" Judy turned to see the smug-looking pig from before trying to drive away in his fancy new hog rod. Smiling at Nick, Judy said, "We'll get him now." In a blur, Judy and Nick commandeered the hog rod, leaving the entitled pig standing next to Finnick in the baby stroller. Her paw heavy on the gas pedal, Judy soon caught up to the catering van. "Hops and Wilde in pursuit of suspect in a stolen catering van, heading east through Sheepshire," Judy said into her radio. Judy steered the hog rod, following Snootley down the sleepy streets of Sheepshire. When Snootley passed by a sheep barber shop, he smacked into a basket of wool, sending it toward the hog rod. The basket hit the hog rod, and wool went everywhere. "Darling, I believe your driving is giving me some white hairs," Nick said. "Also, am I always going to be in the passenger seat? 'Cause if we're establishing sides..." Before he could continue, Nick was cut off by the blare of a police siren. He glanced to the side and saw a SWAT truck pull up next to them. "Back off, rookies," Captain Hogbottom said. "Let the real teams handle it." "Oh, we are a real team," Judy said, taking offense. "Shortcut, take the tunnel," Nick said, ignoring Hogbottom. Judy made a sharp left turn, determined to catch Snootley. Snootley hit the gas, driving toward an on-ramp going in the opposite direction. Staring into his rearview mirror, he saw that Judy and Nick were still following him. Snootley muttered under his breath as he continued to look in the mirror, unaware that he was heading right for the Zootennial celebration. The catering van smashed into a parade sign. Unable to see out the windshield, Snootley leaned out the window. Wham! Snootley hit his head on a traffic sign, knocking him unconscious. He slumped over into the passenger seat. With no one to steer the vehicle, the catering van careened toward the parade, unable to stop. From the hog rod, Judy saw it all. She knew that things would get real bad, real quick, unless she acted. Judy activated the nitrous oxide canister in the hog rod, giving the car a sudden burst of speed. As she and Nick closed in on the catering van, Judy said, "I'm gonna jump!" Climbing onto the seat, Judy was about to jump as Nick struggled to slide into the driver's seat and take the wheel. "What? No, what are you?" Nick said in disbelief. "Carrots, hey, I would like to call a partner meeting. Carrots!" Nick tried to stop her, but he only succeeded in knocking Judy off balance as she leapt toward the catering van. Somehow, Judy managed to hang on. She pulled herself inside the van. She was heading right for the parade now. Her instinct was to slam on the brakes, but she found that she was too short. She couldn't reach the pedal. Thinking fast, Judy slumped below the steering wheel, spinning it as she hit the brakes. She was unable to see what was happening, but she felt the vehicle turn around. The catering van went off the road, heading right for a statue of the founder of Zootopia. The statue was surrounded by Zootopian citizens as Mayor Wind Dancer gave a speech. Please join me in a moment of silence for our beloved Weatherwall inventor, Ebenezer Linksley, the mayor said. As the citizens bowed their heads, the catering van smashed into the statue. Snootly spilled out of the vehicle, falling right into a nearby police car. The two zebra officers in the car couldn't believe their good fortune. They looked at one another as they shouted, "Zebros!" A moment later, Nick pulled up in the hog rod as Judy recovered in the driver's seat of the catering van. She thought she'd heard the back door open. Turning around, Judy glanced in the rear of the catering van. There was an open blue crate, its contents strewn about. There were Zootennial pamphlets, markers, supplies, and what Judy could have sworn was a snakeskin. "Those two are out of control. You need to do something about it. Everyone's laughing at us. This is hogwash." Captain Hogbottom's voice boomed from inside Chief Bogo's office. Judy and Nick sat outside in the hallway like two kids who had just been sent to the principal's office. While they waited, Judy used her phone to watch a video recording of Scaly Tales of the Weird, a podcast about reptile mysteries and rumors from Marsh Market. "Zootopia ain't just a mammal city," said the podcast host. "A beaver named Nibbles Maplestick. It has a secret tiny reptile population. Of course, no snakes. Ain't been one of them around here for at least 100 years. The podcast was interrupted by Chief Bogo as he screamed, "Bunny! Orange dog! In here now!" The partners exchanged uneasy glances as they entered Bogo's office. Inside they saw the other officers who had been involved in the morning's pursuit. They were all a little banged up. None of them looked happy. "Sir, today may not have been ideal, but the anteater was captured," Judy started to say. "By the Zebros!" Chief Bogo shouted. "Zebros!" the two officers echoed. "It was us," Judy insisted, "but more importantly, I believe we may have made a significant discovery. The stolen van contained a smuggled crate of unknown origin, pamphlets for the Zootennial and some type of reptile skin. I've already sent samples for testing." "What needs testing is you! You two tore up half the city!" Chief Bogo shot back. "Did you or did you not disobey a direct order to stand down?" "Sir, we were in pursuit, and Article 6, Paragraph B states that if the lead officers—" "You are not lead officers!" Chief Bogo thundered. "You are one-hit wonders who should go back to meter mating and slinging popsicles." Chief Bogo ordered everyone out of his office except for Judy and Nick. After everyone cleared out, Chief Bogo sighed. "Officer Hops, despite my best efforts to avoid it, I like you," he said, his tone softening. "But this need to overdo it made both of you a headline today, and it reflects badly on me, on the department, and frankly on any bunny hoping to follow in your footsteps. And I don't know why you can't see it. Not every case is going to save the world." Judy looked at the chief as his words sunk in. "Knock, knock. Hi," Nick said. "You know, this kind of sounds a lot like just you guys' conversation, so what I'm going to do is go ahead. Is there a reason you don't take anything seriously?" Chief Bogo asked. "Jokes are a classic defense mechanism for someone with a traumatic childhood." "Would you like a traumatic adulthood?" Chief Bogo threatened. "I would not." Looking at Judy and Nick, Chief Bogo glanced around his office. He saw a newspaper with a headline that read, "Hops and Wilde Crack the Case." "I allowed you to work together," the chief said, "because you did this city a great service. But today, you messed it all up. And now some are questioning whether you should have been partners in the first place." His eyes falling on Judy, Bogo continued, "You care too much." Then he looked at Nick and said, "You don't seem to care at all." Yeah," Nick replied. "This is serious. If you cannot get on the same page, I will separate you. There will be no Hops and Wilde, which is why, effective immediately, you will not be pursuing imaginary reptiles. Sir, Judy said, or anything else, except one very special assignment reserved just for teams like you. Bogo smiled, but there was nothing friendly about it. Fail at this, and I will have no choice but to split you up. But if you're as good as you think you are, this is your moment to shine. Chapter 3. A little while later, Judy and Nick found themselves sitting in a dull-looking room within the ZPD. There were other officers in attendance, sitting next to their partners. Standing at the front of the room was perhaps the cutest, fluffiest, downright most adorable animal anyone had ever seen before. The cute, fluffy, adorable Quokka smiled at the assembled officers. "Welcome to Partners in Crisis," she said, gesturing toward a slide that was projected on the wall behind her. "A workmanship for duos heading for disaster. I am your therapy animal, Dr. Fuzzby, and you are here because mismatched pairings often need a little more work to make them work." Dr. Fuzzby looked at the officers and saw that one was grooming their partner's fur, picking out bugs. The partner didn't seem very happy. "Greg, we talked about that," Dr. Fuzzby said. "What are we making Marlin?" "Uncomfortable. Yes." A couple of seats over, an anxious elephant looked at Marlin and Greg, then turned to see a mouse. The elephant yelped. "And Francine, Clark may be a mouse, but he is your partner first," Dr. Fuzzby said. "And we have 2 new partners. Can you tell us about your journey to Dysfunction Junction? How long have you been struggling?" It took Judy a moment to summon the courage to speak. "Well, we've been official partners for 1 week," Judy said, poking Nick. "Happy anniversary. And we are not dysfunctional at all, actually. Functioning fine. Better than fine. And we did sort of save the city, so us being here seems kind of like a huge misunderstanding." Dr. Fuzzby nodded, then turned to the rest of the group. Noticed how she answered first, did not allow her partner to speak, seemed to be in a state of denial, and tapped her foot when she was suppressing discomfort. Judy's eyes went wide. Only then did she notice that indeed her foot was tapping. She stopped immediately, and Nick smiled. "And observe the source of her discomfort," Dr. Fuzzby continued, "represented by the disconnected affection of her emotionally insecure partner." Nick's smile fell. He couldn't help but notice that the other partner pairs were looking at him and Judy, staring like they were in desperate need of help. "But with hard work, they'll be on the same page by year 2, Dr. Fuzzby said. "For now, as always, we begin by greeting our teammate. Who would like to go first?" "Thank you, Joel." Joel, a deer, turned to his partner, a honey badger named Karen. He smiled at her. Karen freaked out. "Okay, unfortunately, Karen has chosen to see Joel's smile as a sign of aggression," Dr. Fuzzby said. She picked up a spray bottle and spritzed Karen with water. "Hackles down, Karen. Karen, hackles down. The safe word is pineapple." "Pineapple," Joel shouted. "Pineapple!" "Someone get the hose," Dr. Fuzzby ordered. Dr. Fuzzby kept spraying Karen, and Judy and Nick looked at each other. What had they gotten themselves into? The workshop that seemed to last forever finally came to an end. Both Judy and Nick were glad to be out of the stuffy room where, for all they knew, Karen was still losing it. "We'll set another meeting with the chief, get back on the case, and you talk back less. Maybe not at all," Judy said, approaching her locker. Nick grabbed a drink from a nearby vending machine. "Yeah," Nick said to Judy, "or we go with my playbook and we just lie low." "We cannot prove ourselves if we are stuck in that room," Judy said. "And if we complain to Chief Beef, he'll just make us stay longer," Nick pointed out. "Play it smart. Stay off the radar and don't let it get to you, okay? Because we are the dream team." Nick reached into the vending machine, removing a can of soda. He tossed it to Judy, but she wasn't prepared. The can crashed through the drywall. Judy and Nick peered through the hole. The soda had smashed into someone's workstation. It was Paul Molbrandt, who worked in IT, or Information Technology. "Sorry, Paul," Nick said. The soda can exploded all over the mole as Judy and Nick hurried away. Walking toward the exit, the partners passed by some officers who were watching a news report on Judy and Nick's earlier car chase. The officers laughed. Judy fumed. "You don't think this is unfair?" Judy said. "Let me ask you something," Nick said. "Do you think we're good partners?" "Of course," Judy replied as they walked through the revolving doors. I just wish it felt like someone was rooting for me and you to make it." Now outside, Nick stopped walking and looked at Judy. "We will make it to Jumbo Pop Friday," he said, "'cause we're off the clock." "No nights off until we're out of the doghouse," Judy said. "That's a canine slur, and maybe Bogo was right about one thing. One of us may like to overdo it. And the other may be the emotionally insecure source of our discomfort," Judy said. Then she handed Nick a book about partnerships that she had been carrying. "The sooner we ace partner class, the sooner we're back on the case," Judy said brightly. "Enjoy it. I got 2. "I'd rather chew off my own arm," Nick said. Walking away, Judy smiled, and she said, "Happy anniversary!" Judy had just made it to her apartment with a huge stack of mail. She began a muzzle-time call with her parents, Bonnie and Stu. "So, saw the news, saw you on TV," Bonnie said. "You okay?" "Everything's fine, Mom," Judy lied. "Uh-oh," Stu said. "Everyone knows fine is a cry for help." "What does your fox partner say?" Bonnie asked, switching the subject. "He has his own way of handling things," Judy replied. "Well, you two are very different," Bonnie said. "Small-town hero raised on a farm." "Big city crook raised on the streets," Stu said. "Just remember the first rule of partnerships. You can be right or you can be happy." "That's true," Bonnie added. Stu and Bonnie then started to argue over who was pushing whom out of the picture, and that's when Judy decided it was time to end the call. "Bye, Bun Bun," Bonnie said. "Love you. Goodbye. Bye." At last, Judy hung up the phone. It had been a very long day, and all she wanted to do was read the case file she had brought home. Then she looked at the partnership book. Unfortunately, there was no choice. If she wanted to have any hope of looking into that case, or any other case for that matter, Judy was going to have to work on her and Nick's partnership. She turned on the TV for some background noise and set to work highlighting passages in the partnership book. While she worked, she listened to a news show about the Zootennial. "But tonight, we put our differences aside and celebrate 100 years of togetherness at the Zootennial Gala, where the Linksley Journal, containing the patented Weatherwall's plans, will be on public display for the very first time since an incident a century ago," the reporter said. Judy looked up at the TV. She saw footage of the Linksley Journal. "Which is why gala security is so tight," the reporter continued. By then, Judy had turned out the news and was now focused on the case file she'd brought home. Inside was a Zootennial pamphlet recovered from the blue crate aboard the catering van. She opened the pamphlet and discovered a photo of the Linksley Journal with a circle around it. The file also held a photo of the stolen catering van. Judy noted the logo. It was a match for the catering vans she saw entering the gala on the news. "Same van," she said quietly. Picking up her phone, she Zoogled the words Linksley Journal, which led her to another episode of the podcast, Scaly Tales of the Weird. She pressed play. "As my subscribers know, the 100th anniversary of the Weatherwalls is also the 100th anniversary of Zootopia's only snake attack," Nibbles said. "The tragic fanging of Tortoise Sheldrick, the Linksley's family's nanny. She was fanged while stopping a venomous snake from stealing the Linksley Journal. No one has seen a snake in Zootopia since, but I am convinced one will return. The only question is whether he'll be wearing half a pants or one long sock." Judy's brain was now abuzz with thoughts of snakes. Her partnership book a distant memory. Chapter 4. Upon entering his basement apartment, Nick discovered an alternative use for his partnership book. He stuck it beneath a leg of his coffee table to keep it straight. Then he grabbed a jar of peanut butter from his kitchen. He settled in to watch a Wind Dancer action movie. The film was just getting good when his phone rang. "Well, well," he said, answering the call. "Miss me already?" Venomous snakes tried to steal the Linksley journal before, Judy said. What if they're back to steal it again? This is you studying your partner book? Nick replied. The stolen van with the snakeskin is from the same catering company that's working the gala. No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever, Nick said skeptically. If they had feet, Nick heard a knock at the door. He moved to answer it. We're already in the hot seat, Carrots, and the pizza's here. Gotta go. Opening the front door, Nick didn't find any pizza. Only Judy. If there's a fanging at that gala, and we do nothing to stop it, then we're not doing our jobs, Judy said, looking inside Nick's mess of an apartment. Yikes, no wonder you never invite me over. Trying to obscure her view of the apartment with his tail, Nick said, Foxes are solitary. Look, we go and you're wrong. Chief Beef will split us up. And if we don't get a win soon and prove we're great partners, the chief will split us up anyway, she said. Trying to convince Nick, she continued. Check the perimeter, snoop a little, we find nothing, we bail. We need this. There was a brief pause until Nick said, Fine. But we'll still have to get through security, and in Fancy Town, a fox and a bunny won't exactly blend in. Without missing a beat, Judy plopped a parking duty vest in front of Nick. Then it's a good thing orange is your color, she said. They quickly left Nick's apartment and hopped into Judy's old parking duty cart. See, you're still in the driver's seat, Nick said as Judy drove off. The gala was aglow with glitz and glamour as celebrities and the elite of Zootopia arrived at Linksley Manor, ready to celebrate the Zootennial in style. Judy and Nick also arrived with a lot less glitz and even less glamour. From their parking duty cart, they could see an outdoor stage. The pop star Gazelle strutted in front of the audience with her tiger dancers behind her, singing her heart out. She was mesmerizing, as always. But Judy knew they weren't there to take in the show. They had a case to crack. They watched as Mayor Wind Dancer arrived. He performed a quick karate demonstration for the press before heading inside the manor. A limousine pulled up outside, and an Arctic shrew walked out, surrounded by polar bears. It was Mr. Big, a well-known crime boss in Zootopia. A photographer tried to snap pics of Mr. Big, but the polar bears smashed the camera. Judy and Nick got closer to the entrance and saw Milton, the grandson of Ebenezer Linksley with his children, Kettrick and Kitty. Reporters swarmed the lynxes. Mr. Linksley, is it true you'll soon be passing your company down to one of your children? A reporter asked. Who's it gonna be? Another reporter inquired. Kettrick ushered Milton away from the reporters. The family was planning on a Zootennial expansion, but wasn't ready to release the details yet. Meanwhile, Judy and Nick slipped past security in their parking duty cart. Up ahead, Judy saw several catering vans, just like the one that Snootley had stolen. One had melted snow beneath it. This one's warmer. A reptile in Tundra Town might need that to survive the cold, Judy said. They hopped out of the cart and approached the van. Nick opened the door slightly, looking inside. Oh my, a viper, Nick gasped, pointing inside. A window viper, ja? An amused Judy shined her flashlight at Nick's face. Then she noticed something. A side door to the manor was slightly open. Judy motioned toward the door as Nick said, Anyone could have left it like that. And you said snoop a little, not break and enter. Plus I doubt the dress code is meter-maid chic. With lightning speed, Judy reached inside the duffel bag she had stowed aboard the parking duty cart and produced a fancy tuxedo. Ah, we were always going inside, Nick said. Got it. Same page means your page. It's called a hustle, sweetheart, Judy said. You change out here, I get the van. A grumbling Nick switched into the suit while Judy disappeared inside the van. Moments later, Nick was suited up and about to add the cufflinks. He grinned when he noticed that Judy had brought him popsicle cufflinks. As he finished, Judy exited the van. Gone was the meter-maid attire, replaced by a stunning dress. Her ears were done up just so, giving her an elegant look. It's the Zootennial Gala. A bunny comes prepared, she said. You know, I used to dream of infiltrating a place like this. Putting a flower in Nick's lapel, Judy smiled. You know, this is not your worst idea, Nick said. Wow, that was almost a compliment. Your worst idea is what you did with your ears, Nick joked. Judy punched her partner playfully as they entered the gala. A robed figure stopped the door from closing behind them. A robed figure with a distinctly scaly tail. Inside the manor, the gala was in full swing, but Judy had only one thing on her mind. She needed to locate where the Linksley journal was being kept. Why would a snake want to steal some old book anyway? Nick asked. No one's going to steal it because we're here to protect it, Judy pointed out. Then, Judy handed Nick a device called an earcom that would allow them to communicate if they became separated. Wow, Nick said as Judy placed a giant earcom into one of her ears. Proceeding to VIP section. Over. Judy reported on the earcoms. Yeah, I'm right here, and you want to fit in, Nick said. It's not just the clothes. It's the vibe. It was then that Judy saw what they'd come to the gala for. There, she said. Judy directed Nick's attention to another part of the room with heavy security. In a thick acrylic case surrounded by 3 imposing snow leopard guards was the Linksley journal. I don't think it has enough guards, Nick deadpanned. Come on, it's safe. And why would a snake try to steal that when they can get a copy from the gift shop? That was a good question. And Judy wondered, why was the actual journal so important that a snake would try to snatch it? I'll get a closer look, she said. Make a distraction. That is the opposite of lying low, Nick said as he turned and accidentally walked into a tower of drinking glasses. As the glassware toppled over and the beverages within spilled, Judy grinned and said, You're the best. With all eyes now on Nick and the spill, Judy ducked past security. She was closer than ever to the Linksley journal. Nick's eyes followed Judy, but he almost ran smack into Captain Hogbottom. The nimble fox managed to hide in time. Then he saw Chief Boko enter the room, heading for a nearby stage. Meanwhile, Judy examined the acrylic case that contained the journal, noting that it had a metal cover. Looking at the book itself, she saw that the volume was open to a page that read, Patent of Ownership, Ebenezer Linksley, Inventor. Curiously, it appeared as if the page had been torn from the book. The Gruffalo Buffalo has now entered 3 o'clock. It was Nick's voice over her earcoms. Judy looked up to see Chief Boko. She ducked to avoid him. Then she turned back to the journal and accidentally bumped into a lynx, spilling his drink. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry, she said, her apology overlapping a similar one coming from the lynx. The lynx attempted to clean up the mess as Judy steadied his glass. Wet nap, she said as she offered it to the lynx, only then realizing that he had just said the same thing to her. Lynx jinx. I'm a lynx who's jinxed. Both Judy and the lynx then snorted with laughter. Judy, I'm Judy Hopps. I'm Pobbert, the lynx. Wait, the Judy Hopps? Are you working this? I mean, you're working it? Embarrassed, she replied, Nick looked over his shoulder and saw Judy laughing with Poppert. What was she doing? So what's the case? Poppert asked, leaning into Judy. You're gonna arrest another mayor? Poppert gestured toward Mayor Winddancer, who was giving yet another demonstration of his karate prowess to some partygoers. No, I'm actually, just a hunch protecting that, Judy said, nodding at the Linksley journal. Good. I don't think it's enough guards, Poppert said. Nick heard Judy laugh way too hard over his earcom. That was my joke, Nick said. Judy switched off her earcom so his voice wouldn't distract her. Look, I do not like this guy, Nick said, unaware that Judy was no longer listening. And there's nothing here. Let's call it a night. Hops? Wondering why Judy didn't respond, Nick removed his own comms device and accidentally dropped it. Reaching to the floor to pick it up, Nick saw something that looked like paper. No, not paper exactly. This was thin, almost translucent, with a bumpy texture. A texture like snakeskin. Chapter 5. As the music swelled, Judy took a step away from Pobbert. It was nice to meet you, she said. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Just then, Milton Linksley appeared with his children Catrick and Kitty, heading toward the stage. You're supposed to be off stage, Pobbert, Catrick said pointedly. Yeah, get off stage, Paubert, Kitty said with an equally snide tone. In a flash, it hit Judy. Wait, she said, are you? Yeah, I'm a Linksley, Paubert added. Then he turned to face Milton Linksley and said, Hi, Dad. Now, Paubert, Catrick scolded as he helped their father around Judy and the journal. After this, I want everything back in the vault, Milton said. Hops, Nick said into the comms device, which was now back in his ear. I think I've got something. But again, there was no response. Then Mayor Winddancer addressed the crowd. Welcome to the Zootennial Gala. Look at you all. Good to see ya. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the third generation visionary who has continued the legacy of our great city. Milton Linksley. Carrots, Nick said urgently into the earcoms. I have a trail. Still no reply. Milton Linksley then stepped up as everyone else stepped off the stage. On screens behind him there were images of the weather walls, what they looked like from the very first creation all the way to today. Thank you very much, Milton said. Carrots, Nick barked into a hushed tone. Again, no answer from Judy. He looked up and noticed that there was a chandelier hanging above the Linksley journal. Was it his imagination? Or was someone up there? Nick shuffled through the crowd, trying to get a better look. He bumped into someone who quickly grabbed him by the scruff. I told you to stay away. It was Chief Bogo. Nick tried to flee, but saw something moving in the rafters. Chief, listen to me, Nick said. She was right. You're done, Chief Bogo said. You're both done. Wait, Nick pleaded. The chief started to remove Nick, who struggled with every step. Carrots, Nick said, but it was no use. Meanwhile, Judy was now standing right in front of Truffler. Through the crowd, she saw Nick struggling. She wondered what he was trying to do when she saw him kick over a spotlight. The light flooded the ceiling, focusing on the chandelier above the journal. There, clinging to the light fixture, was a robed animal. My grandpa had a dream to build a city for all animals, Milton Linksley continued, unaware of what was transpiring around him. And what better way to celebrate 100 years of his legacy than by expanding our city and allowing even more of us to be better together. Suddenly, the robed figure jumped from the chandelier to the stage. It became apparent that the robed figure was a snake when he raised his head. The room fell silent. Then Mayor Winddancer said, There's a snake! Any sense of calm was thrown out the window as the crowd began to panic. Everyone headed for the exits, and the Zebros guided Mayor Winddancer to safety. Amid the confusion, the snake stole the encased journal. Then the creature wrapped Milton up in his tail and took him too. Judy went after the snake. Stop! Hogbottom and Truffler shouted as Nick managed to wriggle free of Chief Bogo's grasp. Judy! Nick cried out. Judy! Toward the back of the house, Judy pursued the snake, with Nick trying his best to close the distance, but Judy and the snake were just too fast. The chase continued into the back hallways of the Linksley Manor, and the snake unlocked a door to what appeared to be a study. Inside the room there was a large model of the proposal for the Zootennial expansion. There was also a large fireplace with a fire roaring within its hearth. The snake put Milton down. He set the encased journal down in front of Milton. There was a retinal scanner lock on the case. Don't hurt me. I'll cooperate, Milton said. Eyeball, please, the snake replied. Milton looked at the lock, and it scanned his retina. The case unlocked. Just as the snake reached in to take the journal, Judy crashed into the study. Stop! She shouted. Wow, you are so fast. That is great, the snake said. Please, you don't have to hurt him, Judy said, stepping toward the snake and Milton. Hurt him? Snakes never hurt anyone. We aren't the bad guys, the snake said. Then nodding toward Milton, he said, They are. And this journal holds a secret that will prove it. And when I do, my family will finally be able to come home. Judy was surprised to see the snake smiling at her. Something about the snake seemed so honest, so sincere. She wondered if he could actually be telling the truth. But before she could do anything, there was a loud clunk. It was Nick holding a frying pan he had just used to whack the snake. With a self-satisfied nod, Nick watched as the snake collapsed, releasing Milton Linksley and the journal. "Woo! I am here," Nick said out of breath. Turning to Milton, he said, "Hi, Hops and Wilde. Dream Team, I got him, or her reptiles. It's like, who knows?" Judy could only look at Nick's eyes wide. What had her partner done? She leaned over to pick up the Linksley journal. "I'll take that, Miss Hops," Milton said as Catrick and Kitty entered the study. "Cops are right behind us," Kitty said. "Kill the snake. Burn the journal. If it hides the secret, it's dangerous," Milton said. Looking at Judy, he said, "You'll of course get the credit for stopping the snake. After today, you two could use a win." The journal. There was banging on the other side of the door now. "You know this city, Street Fox," Milton said. "Talk to your partner." Nick looked at Judy holding the Linksley journal. He knew Judy all too well. He felt certain she was not about to hand over that journal. Judy looked at the journal. Then she glanced at Catrick and Kitty. The siblings moved toward the snake, and Judy's foot began to thump rapidly on the floor. Nick knew what that meant. In a flash, she kicked a fireplace poker, setting a tapestry aflame. Nick then opened a window to escape, the glass cold on his hands from the outside air. "Carrots, we need to leave," Nick said. "Help me save the snake," Judy said as Milton recoiled from the fire. "Nick!" There wasn't time, yet Nick knew that once Judy made up her mind, there was no changing it. Judy put down the journal and tried to lift the snake, but it was a feat she couldn't manage. Nick took the snake by the tail. His icy hands woke up the snake, who shouted, "Gold!" The startled snake swung around, smashing Chief Bogo in the head just as he entered the study. One of the snake's fangs pierced Bogo's head. That was bad. Nick looked at Judy, stunned. Bogo stared at the partners as he began to lose consciousness. "Chief," Judy said. "You really are the worst partners," the chief said. Then he passed out. His fangs still stuck in the chief's head, the snake said, "He'll be okay. Anti-venom. He can be saved with anti-venom." "Hops, what did you do?" It was Captain Hogbottom coming down the hall. From her point of view, it looked like Judy and Nick were working with the snake, and they had just taken out Chief Bogo. "No, Hogbottom, wait," Judy said. "They're helping the snake!" Catrick yelled. "They tried to kill the chief." "Take him down," Hogbottom ordered. With Chief Bogo out of commission, she was the ranking member of the ZPD. Judy protested in vain as Nick grabbed her. "My page, let's go," Nick said as he and Judy tossed the snake out the window. "No, wait," the snake said as he shivered in the cold air. "I need the journal. And probably a sweater." "Ah!" Picking up the Linksley journal from the floor, Judy hopped up to the window, joining Nick. Looking down, she gasped when she saw they were 4 stories off the ground. Down below, the freezing snake somehow slithered toward a waiting motorcycle with an attached sidecar. Someone was driving the motorcycle, but Judy couldn't see who it was. Then the motorcycle took off into the night with the snake. There came a sudden pop, 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 and tranquilizer darts pierced a portrait of Ebenezer Linksley on the wall, next to Judy and Nick. "On the ground! Don't you move!" Hogbottom ordered. Judy and Nick looked at each other, then out the window once more. As more darts were fired, the portrait fell off the wall. Nick grabbed it and locked hands with Judy. "Next time we stay home," he said. Then they jumped. Okay, friends. Hopefully you really enjoyed this story. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.